Hi, James Marathis, Director of the Facilities for the Quincy Housing Authority. I just want to speak about the improvements to the property here at 9 Bicknell Street. The building is owned by the Quincy Housing Authority and funded through the Massachusetts Department of Housing and Community Development, and we manage 1,600 units here throughout Quincy. In a property like this, we can't really spend the funding that we receive for capital improvements because we have so much need on the residential units occupied by the tenants. And we're blessed that we were able to receive this funding through CDBG in the City of Quincy and able to make the improvements to this building, including the roof repairs, painting of the exterior trim, removing the grates on the windows, the exterior shutters, repairing the exterior steps on the outside, landscaping improvements, and all new flooring throughout the building, first and second floor. And we're very fortunate to have Manet Health here in our neighborhood and serve our residents and serve our employees. And we really appreciate the cooperation between the city, CDBG, and Manet Health. Thank you.
All right, well, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Small crowd today. I am delighted to welcome you all here to Manet's Snug Harbor site as we celebrate Community Development Week 2017. CD Week is a national celebration. It's an initiative of the National Community Development Association, of which Quincy is a member. It's 1 week a year that we band together as Community Development Block Grant recipients. We educate residents about these programs, members of Congress, and we celebrate the good works and positive impacts that these programs have in Quincy, in New England, and across the country. On an annual basis, Quincy receives about $1.7 million in CDBG funding that we use to promote public services, the Council on Aging Transportation Program, public services that are administered by agencies across the city. And we use that for street and sidewalk improvements, and the list goes on and on. So we are here today because this is the bookend of a project that we started during CD Week last year. We gathered downstairs with a ceremonial check presentation to Manet Community Health Center for the renovations to the site, which included a whole host of things, starting from the roof. This is a slate roof up here, and it's not cheap to fix a slate roof. So the repairs to the roof, painting, there were window and trim improvements. There are shutters now in the building that weren't here before. There were screens on the windows before to prevent vandalism. Those have been taken off now, and really has given the building a whole new facelift. Outside, we've seen mulch, landscape improvements to the site, and so here we are now 1 year later to celebrate the positive improvements to the site, and we're so glad that all of you are here to celebrate that with us today. So we do have a short speaking program. I'm going to ask Jim Fatsis, the Director of Planning and Community Development, to come forward to recognize the staff, and then he will introduce the mayor for some remarks.
Speaking of remarks, I'm really going to keep this short. Mayor just said, oh, here goes the short part when I came up here. Thank you all, and I do want to point out that it's an exciting time for us, but it's always an opportunity to also look at the staff that work for the City of Quincy. You know, just like to really quickly around the room suggest that Sean has done a wonderful job. Sean Glennon, Melissa Pond, Tony Lasorda, Liz hiding behind the camera back there, and I think Neil McCall as well, the money man. If you like to call him. I was also going to introduce Cindy Lopez, who's our new head person. And Cindy, come on in. Cindy, we have to see you, and everybody has to say hi. Cindy, thank you for coming today. We appreciate it. Without further ado, let me introduce the mayor of the City of Quincy with a nice haircut, Tom Koch.
It's going to be a record for you.
I'm working.
It's a pleasure to be here with all of you and my colleagues in government. I see Councilor LaForest, Councilor DeBonner, I see Representative Chan, former Councilor Leo Kelly, I want to thank the staff for all the great work you're doing. Sean is a great leader on the CDBG. This goes back to the old, I guess it predates the revenue sharing, which had morphed into the CDBG program when President Nixon started the revenue sharing program. So it is a program that means a lot to cities. I know the agencies and groups that it touches, we see some of them here today. It is a meaningful federal program. Sometimes people wonder about the relevance. This truly is relevant to what happens in our city in so many different ways. And we see it manifested here today with the visit here to the Manet Health. So I'm just proud to be here. I have a proclamation, which I am not going to read. I didn't bring my cheaters. And Sean wrote it. It's way too long. But it's thorough. That's exactly right. I thought he was doing a federal report. But I just want to say a big thank you to Sean, the team. Congratulations to Manet. Thank you for all you do. My colleagues in government for the support as we all come together to support all we do as a community, because that's what it's all about in the end. It's about us coming together, doing the best we possibly can for each and every resident that we represent and work for. So with that, congratulations. Happy CDBG week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is no stranger to this neck of the woods, and she can proudly say she's the only counselor in all of Manet's service area that is the ward counselor for 2 sites that Manet has. Manet, it's a great story because the original site in Howes Neck, which still remains, and I love to be able to say this, that the term Manet means it remains, and Manet remains. The original site, the City of Quincy through CDBG allocated over $300,000 to construct that first site in 1978, opened in 1979, and now 5 sites later, and about 147 more employees than when it started in 1979. Manet still remains, and the ward councilor representing 2 of those sites is Margaret LaForest.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you all. What I love about the City of Quincy is the people and the organizations who give their time and talent to make what it is. Manet being on the front lines and the quality of care that you provide, and as Sean noted, in the community, here in the peninsulas where access to care would otherwise be a struggle for many of those in your capture area. So I am very grateful for the work that you do in the community, the partnerships you have, to the planning department, to the great staff that we have. We are truly blessed to have such willingness and depth of your time, giving of your time and talent. So thank you to all involved.
This is a very unique partnership because this building is actually owned by the Quincy Housing Authority and is leased to Manet Community Health Center. It's unusual in that we have 2 partners on a project. Usually it's one partner agency, and this one's very unique in that we have 2. And so to give the perspective from Manet Community Health Center is the CEO and last year's annual Mayor's Community Service Award recipient, Cynthia Sierra.
Honored to be here this afternoon and represent the Health Center, and congratulations on CDBG Week, Sean. And Mr. Fascies, there's nothing that we won't do to stand up for you and to stand up for Community Development Block Grant funding. I wanted to acknowledge, because it's about partnership and it's about volunteerism, and we have some of our all-star volunteers here this afternoon in the form of our Board of Directors. I wanted to recognize Matt Littlefield, thank you for being here. And we have 2 board members that are in the hallway, Hank Littlefield and Larry Flanagan. So we think the world of you, and thank you for being here. Wanted to recognize our medical leader that supports this site, and that's Dr. Josh O'Connell. And if you haven't had the chance to meet Josh, please take the time to do that. And then he partners with our CMO, Dr. Lily Young, Kathleen Cooney, a nurse practitioner. Kathleen, I think you're here. Thank you. The most recent addition, one of the most recent additions to the medical staff, and she's frankly exceptional. And thank you to Dr. O'Connell and Dr. Young for welcoming her so well. Also, Dr. Elizabeth Sy, Dr. Jennifer Sabir. We have top medical talent that serve here, about 1,800 unduplicated primary care patients. So here they'll receive supportive and enabling services and primary care. They also have access to programs around prevention and wellness, medication-assisted treatments, so that we can be on the front line and partner and respond to you and with you around the opioid overdose epidemic. I did want to acknowledge both the planning department, the mayor's office. Thank you for your phenomenal leadership. and also the Quincy Housing Authority. This building is very, very special to us, and this building, if you would, stepped up and stood up for us in December of 2014 and remains a steadfast location for our patients. That was the time that we were transitioning the hospital, and Quincy Medical Center was transitioning to become just a satellite emergency department. We called the city, we called the planning department, we called the Quincy Housing Authority, and don't you know, we have a prevention and screening team that does opioid overdose work and prevention services right up here on the second floor. So you gave us a home in 1983, you expanded access to that home in 2014, so we are forever grateful to you. So consider us your friend. We look forward to this project and what's to come. So thank you for your partnership, these funds, this resource, this public facilities program, our patients. On their behalf, we thank you for what you do. Thank you.
And then to round it out, to give the perspective from the Quincy Housing Authority of a slight change in the program, we have James Marathis to provide some remarks.
Good afternoon. Short notice, Jim Lyden wasn't feeling well this afternoon, so asked me to step in. And I just want to say thank you to you, Sean, CDBG, the City of Quincy. With the funds that we were able to receive, we were able to make great improvements to this building, which we otherwise would not have been able to do. As Sean stated, we repaired the slate roof, we painted the exterior trim, we removed all the grates on the outside of the building that gave this a prison-type feel to it, and now we feel confident in our tenants that we can keep the building safe, and we were able to repair the exterior stairs, and the big project was ripping up all of the flooring on both the first and second floor and replacing all of the flooring. And most of the work we did with the staff of the Quincy Housing Authority, so I want to acknowledge them for the great work that they do. They work nights and weekends on all the off hours to get this work done. And truly, without the city and without CDBG, we wouldn't have the funds to do projects like this. And the Quincy Housing Authority values Manet very much down here for our residents as well as our employees. When any of our employees get hurt, first line of defense is we send them here to Manet Health Center. So, so thank you to all. Great project, and the building looks great. Thanks.
And now for the moment. It is time to present the Mayor's 2017 Annual Community Service Award. I'll read it and ask the Mayor to come up and present it to Kathleen Sullivan. Would you please come forward, Kathy? Join me here. You know, this used to be a surprise. We would not tell people they were getting this award ahead of time. And 9 times out of 10, people would come up to us after the event and say, you know, we really appreciate this. You know, we don't want to say anything negative, but it would have been great if you told me ahead of time so that I could have prepared some remarks or maybe warned something else. So starting a year or two ago, we started telling people ahead of time that they're getting this award so they would know. And so last week, Melissa and Liz and I were here to just do a final check before the event, and Kathy was here with Tom and Sandra, and we finished looking at everything, and we're outside, and I said, now would be a good time to tell Kathy. So I said, well, you know, while you're all here, I want to let you know that each year we have an award that the Mayor presents, Community Service Award, and Kathy was getting a little excited. She was squeezing my arm and turned blue, and So I said, well, you know, the Mayor has made a selection for this year, and she said, who is it? I said, it's you. She said, no way. And I can't think of anybody that deserves it more this year than Kathy. And it's funny, when I went to pick this up from Making Your Mark on Liberty Street in Quincy, which I didn't know was a Manet client as well, the owner, John, came out to give it to me, and he said, Kathleen Sullivan. Now, I think I know her. Is she the really nice lady from Manet that's all dressed up and wears all the fancy jewelry? And he said, that's great. She deserves this. So you have a fan even at Making Your Mark. So this is, again, the Mayor's 2017 Annual Community Service Award presented to Kathleen Sullivan. In recognition of your achievements and contributions in the field of healthcare in partnership with our community development programs in the City of Quincy. As a founding employee of Manet Community Health Center since 1979, she was just a kid then, you have successfully collaborated with and worked alongside hundreds of employees at the health center and have fostered positive and enriching relationships with health center stakeholders, vendors, and community partners, all of which have improved the quality of life of Quincy residents and of those throughout Manet's far-reaching service area. You are a staff favorite at Manet, always providing a gentle ear, reassurance, and assistance. Where you shine brightest is in your care and concern for patients. Your dedication to community service is hereby recognized as a model for others to emulate, and presented this 18th day of April 2017 by Thomas P. Koch, Mayor.
I'm humbled and honored to receive this award. I didn't do it by myself. It took a lot of people, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get me to where I am, and I thank everyone who helped me get to where I am. Thank you.
Well, that concludes our program. The building is open for tours if anybody would like to check it out. And we have refreshments outside. I want to thank you all for coming and enjoy the rest of CD Week. Thanks for coming.